Dear students, in this unit we will talk about the sources of genetic variation. As we are aware that genetic variation is actually the differences in the genetic makeup of individual in a certain population. Now this genetic variation, it's very important because it forms the basis for natural selection, which is an important aspect of evolution. Now example of genetic variation include eye color, the blood type, camouflage in different animals, and leaf modifications in plants. Now, gene duplication, mutation, or other processes can produce new genes or their alleles and can increase genetic variation in a population. Now, new genetic variation can be created within generations in a population. So a population with rapid reproduction rates will probably have high genetic variations. Mutation, which is actually a change in the nucleotide sequence of the DNA of an organism, is another source of genetic variation, whereby new alleles can arise by simple mutations. Change in the DNA can give rise to formation of new alleles, and it's raw material for the genetic variations. A change of as little as one base in a gene, which is also known as point mutation, can have a significant impact on phenotype. The example is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is actually a disease in which normal red blood cells of an organism, they are not normal, and they take a form of a sickle or a crescent shaped moon. And that happens only because of one mutation in certain genes which are responsible for synthesizing protein which makes the blood cells. In diploid organisms, harmful alleles that are recessive can be hidden from the selection. Indeed, those harmful recessive alleles can persist for generation by propagation in heterozygous individuals, which are basically normal, but they also have that recessive allele which is harmful for that population. But because they are in heterozygous form, and because it's a recessive allele normally it does not show its characteristics in heterozygous dominant form. It only shows its characteristics when they are in homozygous recessive form. So these heterozygous form of these harmful alleles, it can maintain a huge pool of alleles that might not be favored under the present condition, but that could be beneficial if the environment changes, and it could become useful, which is harmful at the moment. Genetic variation in a group of organisms enables some organisms to survive better as compared to the other organism of same population in the environment in which they live. Organisms of even a small population can differ strikingly in terms of how well suited they are for life in a certain environment. So these are some of the sources of genetic variations.